their task, which is recommendations.
Thank you.
So I would anticipate they could do it a number of ways. They could do it with full group meetings. They could do it with subcommittee, kind of helping prep up. So I think there's opportunity for variety, and getting the group together will help determine that.
Thank you. I just want to really appreciate this framework and this presentation today. Thanks.
All right, I'm not seeing other questions. So with that, I believe our action is just to receive and file the report presented, and again to note that this will be linked on our agenda probably sometime today, shortly. And the other item is that my understanding is our communications department has developed a press release that just, again, clarifies the application information, and I'm wondering if the powers that be are listening, if those in communication just can make sure that the press release is copied to council members and staff, because a lot of us have been forwarding that message out through our communication channels as well. So, so with that, our motion is to receive and file. All in approval, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that item is approved. Thank you very much. Next, we are turning to our Information Technology Subcommittee with Councilmember Andrew Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Today, before us, we have a update on the Enterprise Land Management System, which probably many of you have heard about. It's a very big undertaking that touches virtually every department and has a lot of great potential in it. And so I thought, well, it would be good for us to hear a little more about it and where things are at. So with that, we have Mr. Dahl, our CIO, with us today to present. Thank you.
Chair Johnson, members of the committee, Otto Dahl, CIO for the City of Minneapolis. Yes, want to talk this morning about the Enterprise Land Management System, or as we have put a moniker on it of ELMS. So if you hear ELMS, it's referring to the Enterprise Land Management System. Just to kind of set the framework, why are we doing this? Well, today the city makes use of many different technologies, some of which are outdated, even unsupported. Some of those technologies were actually written by the city several decades ago, and so we do need to refresh the technology. We also want to, though, take advantage of technology to allow the staff to be much more efficient in their efforts in managing land for the city and all the permitting and licensing that goes with that, as well as having a much better experience for customers of the city, developers and the like. And so that's really was the impetus for moving with a new land management system. Specifically, what the technologies will help accomplish for the city is to have a process of land management that is collaborative across the various, and there are many departments in the city that have a piece of this world. And in particular, as I mentioned, we're going to be replacing such systems as Kiva, which is currently the city's permitting, licensing, and inspection system, the digital health system of health departments' inspections, as well as numerous shadow systems, which is a real red flag when you start to see employees create their own little systems that tells you that the mainline information systems that you've deployed are not working sufficiently for them to get their jobs done. And then ultimately we need to integrate and in particular create a more integrative workflow again across the various departments that have to work together on land management. What we will see in the way of benefits from the Enterprise Land Management System is an improved collaborative environment on common projects through these integrated workflows I speak of. Such things as the electronic plan review will now be just that. It'll all be online from review to approval, eliminating the need to, if you will, push the paper around the city in the process. Also, we're paying particular attention to improving the data integrity, not only of cleaning the data that goes into the new system, but also ensuring that the future of our data that gets added to the system over time is of the highest quality and integrity, as well as ultimately integrating smoothly with numerous systems and partners such as Hennepin County that we deal with day in and day out when it comes to land management. We also want to greatly expand our mobile inspection capability. One of the biggest challenges we have today is many of our processes are such that our people go out into the field, they do an inspection, and they have to get back to the office to, if you will, consummate the ultimate work or the ultimate process that they just performed. This technology will allow folks to literally do this in the field, and they will be completing the process physically within the field when they're out in the field. We also want to ensure that we have standardized, repeatable processes so that we, again, are guaranteeing the highest quality of the work, as well as ensuring that our data is of the highest integrity at the end of these processes. And then finally, we most definitely want to improve as much as we can the billing and payment acceptance process that customers of the city go through in the world of land management. So specifically, we broke the project into phases. The first phase was completed back at the end of July of 2014. We took 10 application permit types. We had them come up within the system that the city staff could then turn around and experience the look and feel and exactly how the system would function. It was, if you will, a proof of concept, as well as, again, giving people more insight, because then we started to work on a second set of permits and application types. And these 36 were completed at the end of July of 2015. Then we commenced in August with the final set of 31 application and permit types. And we will have, in essence, those completed when we ultimately go live across the city, both internally and obviously external with our customers in October 3rd of 2016. That date was chosen as a good time to go because the city overall has its busy period typically more towards the summer months, and this is at the beginning of a slower period of time. So we felt this was a very opportune moment to put in a new system to allow people to, city staff, to get comfortable with the system when their workloads were less hectic, and it seemed like the best opportune time to do that. So ultimately, come October 3rd of 2016, we will have all 77 application types and permitting systems up and available to city staff. We will have converted all data, and we will have established all the interfaces and integrations with existing systems that make use of land management information. We will have that mobile field inspector application available for staff, as well as the online project plan capability, cashiering and billing, and some online permit applications and permit types available to the customers of the city. From a financial standpoint, ELMS currently has spent to date $8.5 million, and we are currently 3% under our planned budget. So we're in good shape fiscally on the project. There is one other piece to enterprise land management, and that is ensuring that we get ultimately 66 online transactions available through a public portal. That is targeted for first quarter of 2017. We had to push this back a little bit only because the vendor is releasing a system called Rhythm for civics that will not be available to us until the summer of 2016. And so our ability to actually prime that system and make it available to the public directly won't occur until first quarter of 2017. If you choose or want to keep up with the ELMS project, we have extensive information out on City Talk, and we obviously would be more than happy to answer any questions, but that's a good place to find out a lot about what's going on. It's used by the staff day in and day out in all the departments affected to understand what is going on in ELMS, what is scheduled to go on, and just is our primary communication vehicle. So that's available to you as well. And with that, I'd be more than happy, Chair Johnson, to answer any questions you may have.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Dahl. Councilmember Palmisano? Oh, no questions? All right. Any other questions?
Chair Johnson,
yes.
Could I just failed to mention there are, as I mentioned, this is a cross-department effort, and I have with me, in case there were any questions, particularly our managing directors, because that group really drives this whole ELMS project. And we have Doug Gregerson from Public Works, we have Steve Poor, Henry Emer, and Stacy Wilcox from CPED. We have Dave Roth from IT, and we have Noah Schuckman from Regulatory Services. And did anybody drop in here? Oh. Dan Huff, thank you, from Health. I'll pay for that, I'm sure. Thank you very much, Chair Johnson.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dahl. And not seeing any questions up here, but I just want to thank everyone for their work on this. It's a huge, huge, huge undertaking. And in particular, I really want to call out the leap forward that we're going to have in terms of customer service with this public portal project. And obviously that's made possible because of all the system upgrades and integration and leveraging the latest technology. So it's exciting stuff in the pipelines, and thank you for the update. With that, I will turn the chair back to Council Vice President Glidden.
Thank you. Councilmember Andrew Johnson. Was there one
I'm
more
sorry,
thing?
we got to receive and file that
Okay.
actually. So
we have
why
an
don't
action item.
Yeah, we'll quick do that. All those in favor of receiving and filing, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, that carries. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And now we have our reports from committees. And our first is Community Development and Regulatory Services. With that, committee's Vice Chair, Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. We have 5 items on our agenda being forwarded to the full council on Friday. The first is a series of liquor and business applications. Second is approving the business license for Dunn Brothers along with operating conditions agreement. Third is authorizing a restructuring of the city's Great Street Gap financing for art space and directing staff to execute amendments to appropriate the loan documents, and this is in Chicago Avenue Fire Arts Center. Fourth is the sewer tower renovation project. Passage of a resolution giving final approval to the issuance of up to $50 million in tax-exempt bonds, authorizing special approval of $4 million plus to be refinanced by sewer towers, and authorizing appropriation for the loan repayment to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund loans to additional affordable housing projects. And item number 5, which is probably the most substantial, is the 2015 Affordable Housing Trust Fund, passage of a resolution approving the appropriation of $2.5 million to the Department of Community Planning and Economic Development, and then authorizing a total of $8,800,000 plus from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to a series of 11 separate projects. And just as of note, there were, as of last year, we allocated up to $10.5 million in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. There was $15 million in requests and asks. The final, I believe it's 2 or 3 projects that was not included in the $8.8 million. It looks like they will meet the criteria. We just need to negotiate a few remaining elements. Happy to stand for any questions on those items, Madam Chair.
All right. Questions for Councilmember Fry? I'm not seeing any. Next, we have Public Safety, Civil Rights, and Emergency Management. With that committee's chair, Councilmember Yang.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. We will have one item for the council's consideration on Friday, and that is to authorize a revenue contract for bomb security services with Timberwolves for this upcoming season.
All right. Thank you. Next, we have Transportation and Public Works. With that, Chair, as he stepped out?
Madam Chair, I'm prepared to read.
Okay, thank you. With the Vice Chair, Councilmember Palmisano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 15 items for your consideration on Friday. The first is sidewalk repair and reconstruction assessments. The second is snow and ice removal 2016 assessments. The third is non-governmental tax-exempt parcel streetlight operations. Fourth is non-governmental tax-exempt parcel street maintenance. Fifth is stormwater treatment and research facility, a cooperative agreement with the City of St. Anthony. The sixth is the West Broadway Transit Alternative Study and Amendment. Furthermore, we have the cleaning and lining of cast iron water mains, Fridley Softening Plant Recarbonation System Improvements Project, the Downtown Pedestrian Improvement Project Agreement with MnDOT, hydraulic and hydraulic modeling contracts, master partnership contracts with MnDOT. That is an amendment to an existing agreement. Hennepin-Lindale Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project, an 8th Street Southeast Street Reconstruction and Street Lighting Project, the Vineland Place Feasibility Study Reimbursement Agreement, and a bid for Special Service District snow removal services. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. And then finally, we have Ways and Means with Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ways and Means will bring forward 8 items for consideration Friday. The first is a legal settlement. The item number 2 is amending 3 existing contracts for the Hennepin County Community Corrections probation officers. The third is the signing on of an amicus brief in Fredericks versus the California Teachers Association. Item number 4 is a building use contract with the Minneapolis American Indian Center. Item number 5 is going to be the third quarter gift acceptance for 2015, followed by a contract for investment consultant services with J.H. Elwood and Associates. Item number 7 is Minneapolis High Rise Representative Council Agreement. And the final item is the acceptance of a $155,522 planning grant from the Department of Justice Office of Justice Programs. This is for funding concentrated on reducing crime and improving community safety. This is a broad cross-sector partnership focusing on Little Earth of United Tribes. Happy to answer any questions on those 8 items.
All right. And I'm not seeing questions on that either. So I believe, double checking here. With that, we have concluded with our agenda for today. We have no further actions, and so we are adjourned. Thank you very much.